Sonic the Hedgehog 3 is a film that I had a lot of fun with. As somebody who's known this character since my childhood, this was quite entertaining and also one of the better video game movies I have seen over the years. I have to say, I always had high expectations of this even before the first trailer was released because this is a beloved franchise. It's for adults, it's for kids, and I'm happy to say that this is quite thrilling all throughout its runtime. Not only that, but it is good to see video game movies be a lot better than they were 20, 30 years ago because there was a time where we have gotten nothing but awful video game adaptations, and sure, nowadays, every once in a while, we get a stinker such as Borderlands or even Uncharted. And it's cool to see that for people that don't even play video games, they can have an amazing time watching something like this. The team dynamic of Sonic, Knuckles, and Tails is nicely done, the story is intriguing, and even the introduction of Shadow the Hedgehog was handled well. I certainly can't wait to go back to rewatch this to see if I missed any video game references here, but man, if you're interested even in the slightest, definitely go and check this one out because it is well worth the effort. Growing up as a kid in the 90s, I always had love for the Sonic character. But if you would have told me 25 years ago that in 2024 we would have gotten a Sonic trilogy at this point, I would have been on top of the moon. Like seriously, this trilogy is probably the best video game trilogy I've seen over all of these years. And trust me, I've seen some bad video game movies out there. Particularly, I have to give credit to Ben Schwartz. He always been great with the character of Sonic. I always like this version because he's happy, he has a family. But then when Shadow shows up, then it's up to him and Knuckles along with Tails, three of them. They show up and well, they get their asses whooped. Like you see it in the trailer, this isn't a spoiler, but Shadow, he's like has powers that are beyond belief, like he teleports. And you know, he's angry. Speaking of which, I thought that Keanu Reeves, he also did a great job voicing Shadow. The only complaint I have about this character is that it didn't get much into his backstory. Without giving out any spoilers, I wanted to know more about this character. This, certainly, I would have liked if Keanu Reeves had a little bit more emotion. Seriously, he's the John Wick of this universe.
One hedgehog to another. Who does your highlights?
The more you talk, the harder I want to hit you.
That character could have gotten a little bit more, just emotion so I could be more invested with his character. Knuckles and Tails definitely stand out here. There are some jokes that make me laugh, particularly some from Knuckles. And being at the movie theaters, there were some kids, they just love this film. Heck, anybody who's a fan of Sonic is going to love this movie. Whether you're like me, the older generation, or even the younger generation, because there's a lot here for nostalgia. For me personally though, I think the nostalgia factor is beginning to run out because now, without getting into, once again, spoilers, they bring in some things that I'm not really familiar with. But particularly what I really liked about this film is that Jim Carrey, he is over the top, probably the most here. I was so happy he returns, this time playing two characters. Dr. Robotnik and Gerard, they definitely are complex characters. And Jim Carrey, man, he has some funny moments. Now the human characters, they do show up here, but nowhere near as much in the second installment. And I really appreciate that. It focuses on Sonic, Knuckles, and Tails, and of course the Robotniks along with Agent Song and Shell. And I think that is the right decision because people come to these films to see all of these amazing characters. When you have the human characters show up, like I said in the second film, then kind of takes away from that a little bit, But particularly that they do show up, especially Tom and Maddie, at certain parts. And it actually makes sense within the story, not, we going to a wedding or even there be some kind of reason, like a road trip in the first. And it actually makes more sense here because It directly involves the plot and it's not something out of nowhere. And the thing is that while this is not the best of the trilogy, personally, I really have a soft spot for the second film. That's my favorite. But this one right here is a close second. Nonetheless, I highly recommend anyone to check this one out because it's so enjoyable. It's not perfect. I'm not going to say it's one of the best video game movies of all time, but it definitely has a lot of great moments within it that it makes it quite a thrill ride from beginning to end. I'm giving this film a 7 out of 10. I generally didn't have any issues with it, maybe some here and there, but it wasn't enough to make me bored. I was just entertained all the way throughout. And since a fourth movie has been confirmed for 2027, I would like this group of characters to go to a different planet because as someone who has played some of the Sonic games from the 90s, it would be cool to see some of those locations in the next installment. Overall, a video game film that gets a lot of things right, and I'm also looking forward to what comes next for this franchise. And that's my review of Sonic the Hedgehog 3. Okay, leave your comments down below in the section and let me know what you think about this movie. Alright, this is Slim Guy 172 saying, peace out.